Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing Comic Uno episode 69, and this is a show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show, and let's get started. We go to worst pick of the week to best pick of the week. We have 19 comics this week. That's why the reviews are a tad bit late tonight. Also had the Father Like Door Q&A if you haven't checked that out. But let's talk about these comics. Number 19 is Batman Eternal, issue 29. I hated this issue. I actually really disliked it. It wasn't just like, oh, it was the least favorite this week. It really was the worst pick of the week. I thought it was way too confusing. There was way too much going on. Very dark art. And it definitely was referencing the worst story arc, in my opinion, for Batman Eternal, which was that Spectre Batwing story arc, which is like, why is this here? And it's mostly just to promote that new book for Batman, Batman Midnight, whatever it's called. So yeah, I really did not like this issue. I thought it was way too confusing. I didn't really know what was going on with Batwing and how Arkham Asylum blew up. I thought it was too cluttered, very, very cluttered, and just did not like it at all. So 1.5 for me. Didn't like Batman Eternal this week. Number 18 is Multiversity The Just, issue 1. This is another story. A lot of like bad kind of issues, but then there's a lot of good issues, so it's a lot of books. So yeah, Multiversity. I didn't like Multiversity issue 1, the original Multiversity, but I did get this one shot because it intrigued me. I do like the celebrity culture, so it'd be interesting that these superheroes that we know and love to have kids and be in the spotlight, kind of like Jupiter Legacy, which hasn't come out in months, probably like a year hasn't come out, but it was very similar to that tone. And with this, it's poking fun, not poking fun, it's very meta, where they're referencing a comic book makes a superhero commit suicide, we don't know why, and Damian Wayne has to figure out why. So that's in a way that is really meta, because you're reading a comic book about a comic book. Blow your mind there. But yeah, I just think it concentrates so much on that aspect that you forget to make us care about these characters, and I just didn't care about these characters. It was way too long, too expensive, $4.99 book, and I actually fell asleep reading this. I was on the bus, I was reading it and just fell asleep halfway through and had to read it the next day because it just was kind of boring. So 2 stars for Multiversity The Just. Alright, number 17 is Axis, issue 3? Pretty sure that's right. Hold on. It's Axis, issue 3, yes. You know, with Axis, it's very action-packed, but again, it went down again because I think the ending was really weird and out there. It just didn't lead up very well. It's pretty much all an action issue, even though it's just a $3.99 book. All action, villains trying to defeat Onslaught, heroes trying to defeat Onslaught, and the only story that really happens is towards the end, which didn't really make sense. Evan turns into this big monster somehow, we don't know why or how, or at least I didn't catch it. It might have happened really quickly, the explanation, but he just turns into this monster. He's like, oh, when did you grow? Because what page he's Evan, like the Evan we know from Wolverine and the X-Men, and then the next page he's just like this big Hulk-type character. So I was kind of confused with that. And also very confused with Havoc's motives. You know, the whole issue, people are, you know, teaming up with each other, and Havoc's like, I'm done being an Avenger, bye. And he leaves his wife, Wasp, which is a long story if you haven't read Uncanny Avengers, but he leaves, and he's just like, I'm gonna be with the X-Men now, and it really confused me, because I was like, where did that come from? Maybe they'll explain it more in Uncanny Avengers, but I thought that was really out there and just didn't, it came out of left field, honestly. So that's something that really brought the book down. But the artwork's really good. You know, the action's interesting, but just way too much action. You need more story here. Maybe explain why Havoc was so upset that he left the Avengers and how Evan turned into this Hulk-type character. Maybe you could explain a little bit more about that. So 2.5 for me. Alright, so now we're up to 16, which is Future's End, issue 25. You know, same Future's End we've been getting, and this had a little less than last issue, because last issue at least had some Firestorm and Superman stuff. This week, nothing really happens. I did like the Firestorm stuff. We're getting to see that Tim Drake's girlfriend's getting closer to Firestorm, and that the guy who works with the other half of Firestorm pretty much hates heroes and wants to kill everybody, and then finds out that the person he's working with is Firestorm, and he's like, I'm gonna kill him. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but it's only a couple of pages here, and then the rest is, you know, nothing really happens. See, Superman is fighting one of Brainiac's droids. That happens. I'm like, okay, that doesn't really progress the story that much. 50 Sue's thing where she's just like, oh, I'm all powerful, like the same stuff we didn't get in with her. And then a battle between, you know, with Frankenstein and Black Adam trying to get Brother Eye's people away from them, and all these machines hoarding them. So honestly, it was just a boring issue. The only thing I liked was the Firestorm stuff, and even the Superman stuff was kind of boring. I usually like that story. So overall, just kind of boring. So I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. Alright, now we're up to number 15. So yeah, 15, which is Arkham Manor, issue 1. What did I think about Arkham Manor? It was okay. You know, there was nothing there to really give me that next issue, say, hey, I have to get Arkham Manor issue 2, but it was okay. You know, I think that the ending was interesting, where we get to see Batman. He gives away his whole entire manor because it's either lose it completely because he doesn't have enough money, or give it to a good cause. So he decides to give it away, and somehow Alfred's okay. Nothing from Batman Eternal affects him. So that was weird. That the story is connected to Batman Eternal because of Arkham Asylum blowing up in Batman Eternal this week, but at the same time not connected because Alfred is perfectly fine. I don't even think he has a cane in this issue, which he just had, like, almost died a couple issues ago for Batman Eternal. So, very weird that Arkham Manor is not following that story, but only following some stories. But the ending's interesting because we get to see that Batman finds out there's these murders in Arkham Manor, and he wants to go undercover. So he becomes someone that goes into Arkham Manor. So, and he names himself Jack Shaw. So I thought that was kind of cool. I liked that idea, but didn't give me enough to say, let me get issue 2. It was an okay issue. Nothing really that spectacular here. And also, I thought Batman had a really weird chin, and he just grew this facial hair for no reason throughout the issue. When did Batman have facial hair? I don't know, but 3 stars. Alright, number 4 is Logan Legacy, issue 2. A big bump up from last week. Last week it was worst pick of the week, and this week it was a little bit better. And I'm only getting X-23 though. I don't really care about the other characters, so I just wanted to get X-23 and see how she grieved. And I liked it. You know, the ending of X-23 not knowing where she goes now that her father's dead, or not really father, but the closest thing she had to a father is dead. And her exploring a little bit more about herself in this issue, and then she finds a hero that helped her grieve over Wolverine, and then she decides to dye her hair a little, and she's like, you know what, I'm proud of my father, you know, of Wolverine, and I'm just gonna keep on living. And Kitty's happy about that, the whole team's happy, so she's just like back to where she was. I guess it makes sense for all new X-Men that she's back where she is. So overall, I thought it was a good story. I think the middle story is what brought it so low, because I thought it was a touching story with X-23, and there's also a really good Kitty moment where Kitty's looking at her pictures, and she's like, you know, I can't believe I was like these kids back in the day, and thanks for, like, going along with it, Wolverine, and she's, like, looking at all these pictures. I thought that was a touching moment. But yeah, the middle of the story is what really brought this issue down. I just thought it dragged a lot. You didn't really need it. And the beginning and the end was only touching parts. The middle is like, oh, let's just fight. Let's fight. Let's meet this random hero. And then, oh, everything's good. Okay. So, and also the artwork. The coloring was very dark. The artwork's actually pretty good. But coloring-wise, didn't really like it for the issue. I didn't think it worked well. So 3 stars for me. I'm not going to get the next issue. But if you're an X-23 fan, it has a lot of references to X-23. Tim Seeley definitely knows X-23's history. But if you're not an X-23 fan, you want to become an X-23 fan, I don't know if this is the issue for you, but I would say hardcore X-23 fans should get it. But other than that, you should probably skip it. Alright, now we're up to number 13, which is Butterfly, issue 2. I thought the first issue was okay. I thought a lot of the main characters were very robotic, so it was hard to get into the character, but there was enough meat in the story to get issue 2, and now it's a miniseries, so I'm going to just get the whole miniseries, because it's like 4 issues, but I thought this issue was a big improvement. We get to see that our main character, Butterfly, goes face to face to her father, and her father has a family of his own, has been keeping secret that this has been his hideout in a way, to go against the people that Butterfly is working with. So now they're all being hunted down, and she's learning a little bit about her father, and the father is being very protective of her, even though in the beginning of the issue, she's like, who are you? You're not my daughter. What are you talking about? But his wife was actually very nice, saying, oh, this is your daughter? Let's, bring her in. Let's talk. Let's have some tea. So I thought the first half of the issue was really good. I really enjoyed the wife and how she reacted to Butterfly. I thought that was cool. Her reacting to her having a half-brother. But the second half is what kind of bored me. Why the issue was a little lower than I wanted it to be. Artwork, I will add, though, is really good and fits the story very well, especially the coloring. But the second half is with the father and a little bit of the backstory of how he faked his death, and I got a little bored with that. It was a little bit too much espionage and not enough heart there. And I think that's the biggest complaint of Butterfly in general, is it's robotic. It has potential, but so robotic. And I want more emotion out of this one. So I will pick up the rest of the miniseries because I think it has potential, but there's so much potential here that I just don't think they utilize with the relationships of the characters. Alright, so let's go to number 12, which is... one of them fell. Number 12 is The Flash, issue 35, which is disappointing because I actually do like Vendetti's run of The Flash, which is surprising because I really don't like his Green Lantern run. I dropped pretty much every Green Lantern book because of it, or at least Green Lantern Corps and Green Lantern. I'm still getting New Guardians secondly, and Sinestro I'm not getting right now just because of the whole Godhead thing. And I'm not getting Green Lantern New Guardians because of the whole Godhead thing too. Again, back to Flash, I do like his run on Flash, and I like what he's doing with the characters, that he's making it his own, at the same time keeping what Buccellato and Manapul had for the series, which I love their run. And always looked forward to every issue, and I still look forward to Flash all the time too, because I think Vendetti is doing a good job. With this issue, though, I was actually really disappointed. I thought it was very confusing what they did with the time travel thing. So I really liked the Future's End Flash. I think it was probably one of my favorite issues that came out of Future's End. I don't remember what grade I gave it, but it definitely was one of my favorites. And it handled Wally becoming, Kid Flash, and Iris finding out about Barry being Flash. But what confused me is that the Future Flash goes back even further now to the same time of Barry. So they're having this epic fight, and then Wally comes in, he's Kid Flash, and he doesn't die, but he tries to take the energy away from Barry to try to save him, and now Barry's like in the prehistoric age. I thought there's so much going on that really confused me with the time travel stuff. I was like, what actually happened? Is Wally Kid Flash? How is that happening? What actually happened for Future's End? Like, are they completely forgetting about that story? Or is it because he went so far back that that story didn't actually happen? I was so confused by that, especially because I really enjoyed Future's End, and I was excited to see how that continued. But they just went further back, and I don't know. I was confused, and now he's in a prehistoric age, and I feel like they do that way too much in The Flash. So, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to the next issue, because I was really disappointed with this one. But 3 stars, it's not horrible. The artwork is really good for this series. Even though it's the same artist as Teen Titans, it fits for Flash here. But look at this. It's beautiful artwork. So, it's not a bad story. I just thought it was a very confusing story for Flash. So 3 stars for me. I was disappointed with Flash this month. Alright, I think we're up to number 12. Yes, we are. No, we're up to number 11, which is Father's Day, issue 1. Father's Day was a pleasant surprise, but at the same time, I wish more happened. It's about this kid finds her father. Father's part of this espionage group, and they're running away because someone wants to kill a father, and that's it. It feels kind of generic. We've seen it before, but it's a mini-series, so I'll probably get the rest of it. And the artwork was really good. I still want to see these characters kind of fleshed out, but it's really generic. They could have done a little bit more to have a good twist, but I think it's worth picking up. if you want to get a good indie book, or just another indie book, I say pick it up, but it's kind of in the middle. The artwork is really good, that's what bumped it up to a 3.5, but it's pretty generic. So 3.5, and it depends if you want to pick up the issue. Alright, next is number 10, which is Hobgoblin Axis issue 1, and this is a mini-series, and this, finally we're getting into the really good books. This was a really interesting book. We get to see Kingsley is trying to selling to be a hero, so that was interesting. But the other Hobgoblin, Phil Urich, he was a good person, but he still wants to be a villain, and he's trying to find his partner, Menace, who's forgotten everything. She's not even a goblin anymore, and she's forgotten who she is, and now she's joining Kingsley group, but Urich doesn't know that. Urich thinks that Menace is going to come back to him and be a villain. So it's interesting to see that. I really like the cliffhanger. So I like seeing all these hobgoblins come together, and even just regular goblins come together into this story arc. And it was fun to see the Kingsley stuff. I mean, it was a little out there, but it was a lot of fun to see that stuff of him trying to sell being a superhero. So overall, I like the issue. I don't think it blew my mind, but I really did enjoy it. I'm definitely going to get the rest of the miniseries after that cliffhanger with Menace and with Phil Urich's story. More than Kingsley's story, but I get what they're doing with Kingsley. So Kingsley, I think, was the weaker part of the story, and I really like the second half more. So I'm going to give Hobgoblin 3.5 stars, and that was number 10. Now we're up to number 9. Yes, we are. Number 9 is Grimm Fairy Tales, issue 103. Good issue. I liked it. We get to see, I'm trying to think of her name. It's not Blair. It's not Blair. I can't think of her name. But she was a villain. I'm new to the Grimm Fairy Tales universe, as you can tell. But, she was a villain, and now that's she's part of this Grimm Fairy Tale university, in a way, academy. And one of the characters from Wonderland doesn't really trust her, and we see this character tested to her limits, see if she's a traitor or not. We find out that she isn't, and she tells the person from Wonderland, hey, get out of here, you've done enough. And the good cliffhanger is that we're going to learn more about the nymph character, the person from water. We're going to learn more about her character in the next issues. So art was really good, as always, in Grimm Fairy Tales. And I liked the little twist, because I thought I want to say her name's Blair. I thought she was going to be a traitor. I was like, oh man, she's going to definitely be a traitor, and that's going to be the twist. But it was a good twist of that guy wasn't even real. It was one from Wonderland pretending to be that guy, and Blair, I want to say, she catches it so quickly, and I thought that was a really good twist. So 3.5 for me, or maybe I gave it 4 stars. Let me see. I did give it 4 stars. I was going to say, just made it 4 stars. Yes, 4 stars for me. Very solid book. Obviously, it just made it to 4 stars, but I felt it was very solid, and I'm looking forward to the next one because I want to learn more about that Atlantean-type character next. Alright, now we're up to number 9, which is number 9, right? Or is this number 8? Number 8, which is She-Hulk issue 9. A little bit lower than what She-Hulk, the previous issue is, and yes, I heard the news of She-Hulk being cancelled. I'm kind of upset because I've been enjoying this series, even though some people are not enjoying the art, but I do like She-Hulk, and I think it has some interesting lawyer stuff in here that we haven't really seen in previous She-Hulk series, although we do get some good law stuff in Dan Slott's She-Hulk, which I totally recommend. That's a really good series, which I don't think a lot of people even knew Dan Slott had a She-Hulk run, but it's really good. But yeah, going back to it for this issue, this is Matt Murdock versus Jen Walters in the court of law. And Matt Murdock is winning, and She-Hulk is trying to figure out all these ideas to get Captain America out of... I don't think he's going to jail, but it's just kind of like a fine, but tarnishes Captain America's name a lot, saying that he kind of killed somebody, in a way, because he was using his mouth a little bit too much, and this guy killed his friend, and now he's going in court because of it, and this is before he was even a super soldier. And Captain America, because of his pride and justice, brings Matt Murdock into, to go against She-Hulk, because, like, because She-Hulk asks, why are you going against Captain America anyways? Like, I didn't want to go against Captain America. Captain America asked me, and he says, try your hardest. And She-Hulk was going to, you know, say, oh, there shouldn't be a case at all, and she was trying to do that, and Captain America is like, no, I want to win this truthfully. So now Captain America is just trying to tell the truth, and he screws himself up in the end also, because there's a really touching story about how, and this was from Matt Murdock's side, it was a touching story about how his little brother died, or the person that was in the hospital, how the little brother died, and Steve Rogers was kind of the reason it happened. And so Steve Rogers pretty much says, yep, that all happened, it's all true. And I love what She-Hulk says, come on, because like, how am I going to win this case? Because Steve Rogers is being so nice about it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. This was a really solid issue. I think it was a little bit too much dialogue. I think that was the biggest problem. Was like, there's a lot to read here. But overall, it's a really fun issue seeing Matt Murdock and Jen go at it and wonder why Matt Murdock is trying to go against Captain America, and Captain America just being Captain America and saying, hey guys, we're going to tell the truth here. So I'm going to make She-Hulk's job as hard as possible. So it's a fun issue. 4 stars definitely. It's going to be sad to see this series go. Okay, now we're up to number 7, which is Earth 2, World's End, issue 3. A consistent, definitely weekly series, and hopefully it stays this way, because I've been really enjoying Earth 2, World's End, because it actually feels like you're getting Earth 2 every week, unlike Batman Eternal, where it's like a lesser of Batman every week, and Future's End, where you're getting all these like D-list characters in one series. So yeah, Earth 2 World's End, really enjoyed this issue. I think my only complaint about it is there's a lot of characters having story here. I kind of wish they took one character away, that way you could really concentrate on these 2 stories. One story is, you know, from the cliffhanger from last issues, that Lois, Power Girl, and Huntress are being brainwashed, and they have to attack Superman and Batman, and Lois Lane is able to like override it, so she's able to get everyone out of the brainwash and say, well, what do we do next? We gotta get this Apocalypse woman. So that's one story. Then we have another story that's really short with Barbara and Dick, where they are trying to live life in Chicago, where they're in this like safe house. Now people are getting a little vicious there, so what's going to happen there? And they want to do more, but they can't. They're not superheroes, but it'll be interesting to see what they become. So yeah, now it's just people trying to get away from Apocalypse and trying to save the world from Apocalypse, and it's getting a little harder. Like with Aquawoman, we get to see Death literally meet Atlantis there, so that's going to be fun. And you get to see where all the heroes are at during Apocalypse, and that's what the issue is pretty much about. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid issue. I especially liked the Lois Lane / you know, Batman, Superman, all those stories. I love what they're doing with those characters, and they're pretty much the main characters. Everyone else I felt was a little bit, they're trying to force a little bit too much, but I thought Jimmy's story was really good. I really like Batgirl and Dick Grayson, Barbara and Dick Grayson's story. I think that's pretty awesome that they're adding them to the Earth 2 and that they're married. I'm having a lot of fun with that. So overall, just a really solid story with some interesting plot points, but maybe a little bit too much in one issue. So 4 stars for that. Number 6 is Revival, issue 24. I'm so upset that this didn't make my top 5, but it was a little weaker than it usually is, but I love Revival. With this issue, we get to see that M is pregnant, and with this ghost baby, and she's having a baby with the person, with her professor. So that's going to be a lot of fun because, you know, with Dana, her sheriff, the sheriff really still has a hard time with Dana because he thinks she did wrong by getting pregnant as a teenager, and M's like the perfect daughter because she never did get pregnant, and now she is pregnant. So how's the sheriff gonna react to this? And also, I'm sure the sheriff is gonna find out that M is a reviver soon. And how is he going to react to all of this? That's going to be a lot of fun. And also, Dana trying to have a relationship with her partner. That's going to be interesting to explore. And I'm wearing my Revival shirt as this all goes on. That's going to be interesting to explore. And we also see the Reviver story go a little bit more like the Jesus Christ figure that we saw from a couple issues ago that ended up becoming M's boyfriend for a couple of issues. He's being kidnapped, and we're seeing that people are trying to test revivers and see what they're all about. So that's pretty much what the issue's about. Very solid issue, but I don't think there's any draw-dropping moments that Revival usually has, or even character development things. But very solid story that I think progresses the plot very well. So I'm going to give this 4 stars. And artwork is amazing, as always. I love the art here for this noir story. Alright, so let's go to top 5. Number 5 is Deathstroke, issue 1. I really like this issue. I think it was very action-packed. I would have liked a little bit more story towards the beginning of the issue, but the cliffhanger is awesome. We get to see that Deathstroke is all healed up. He has black hair. He doesn't have his eye patch anymore because his eye's healed. So what did this guy do to him? He goes to this guy after a really hard battle, and now he's all healed up. So what's going on there? I'm really intrigued. And also the artwork for this is freaking amazing. I gotta show you. That's what really made the issue for me, is this wonderful bloody artwork right here. I love what Tony S. Daniel is doing to the character already, and I mean, I think the story could have been a little stronger in the beginning, but other than that, I'm really looking forward to that cliffhanger, and the artwork is amazing, so definitely pick up Deathstroke. That was 4 stars, number 5. So what is number 4? Starlight, issue 6. This was actually really touching. I thought the beginning was a little bit, we're getting the same thing we always get, but it was a really fun final battle where we get to see our main character get the respect he always wanted. He saves the planet once again, and by the end of the issue, he's able to get his sons to believe about these adventures by having this rocket go across pretty much the town. And the last moment, oh my god, it made me choke up so much. We get to see our main character, Duke. He's with his wife. He points up to the sky, is like, "This is for you, baby." And Little Hampton, home of Duke McQueen. So finally, people respected him. So I thought that was such a touching ending. And then to have the little boy come to really have that reputation for Duke and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be okay because I know Duke McQueen and he's my pal." So really good issue. I thought it really wrapped up into that first issue. The middle of the story was the really weak part, where it's like, where is this going? And then it went back to the heartstrings of that first issue, which I think is still one of the best issues that came out this year, was that first issue. It was so touching, and then that end moment really tied it up into a bow. So for me, I'll give this 4 stars. I thought it was a really good issue, and overall, I think you should get this in trade. It's an interesting story. Even though I think the middle is a little weak, I think overall Duke McQueen is a really cool character. So that's number 4. Number 3 is Dark Shaman, issue 1 from Zenescope. This is a mini-series, a new Grimm Fairy Tales character, and I really enjoyed this. It's a Native American folklore in a way, and this Native American monster is coming up and trying to control our main character, and she doesn't know what's going on. She's just having these bad dreams, and they go out, they go to this beach house, and she's still having these bad dreams, and she doesn't really know why. One of her friends dies because this monster's trying to go closer to her. And then another story is that this wife, who's really bitchy, she's like, "Where's my husband?" And we find out the husband dies with the son. So that's going to be interesting to see. But the artwork is really good for this series too. And I think it's just really different. And that's what I liked about it. Bringing, Native American folklore, which I don't think we get enough of in comics. So this was really cool. And the main character was interesting. The story overall was interesting. I could see her really integrating into the Grimm Fairy Tales universe very quickly. So I gave this pretty sure 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. It made me very intrigued. I gave it 4.5 stars. It made me very intrigued for what's to come with this character. So I'm looking forward to it. Really enjoyed that one. Number 2 is The Amazing Spider-Man issue 8. Oh my god, this issue is number 2. What could be number 1? The reason this issue is number 2 is not obviously because of the Spider-Girl stuff, but because of the main story. I thought you didn't really need it, even though it was really fun, and there's some really cool things with Silk, kind of creating her own character, and Clash, who is from the Amazing Spider-Man miniseries, being in here. I thought that was a really great reference, and seeing where he's at, like, 20 years later, I thought that was really cool. And he was like a henchman, and he's like, I just want a job, and Peter's like, Spider-Man was like, I have a friend, go to Parker Industries and you could get a job. So I thought that was really cool. If you read the miniseries, if you didn't, you're gonna be like, what the hell is this all about? But reading the miniseries and really enjoying the miniseries, I thought that was really cool. And then the Miss Marvel Spider-Man team up is really fun also. But let's talk about Spider-Girl. This is the reason it's number 2. I talk more in depth about Spider-Girl in my in-depth review on my channel, so you can check that out. But I just want to say I thought this was a really cool story for Spider-Girl. It took me a little while to digest it and be like, alright, this is what's going on with Spider-Girl. Mary Jane, Peter, and Wes are probably dead, but I can deal with this. I think it's interesting because, first of all, Mary Jane was in character. Hell yeah, finally. And she dies with her husband. And I really like the ending, honestly, where May says she's gonna kill Damon because he's killed her father. And I think that's very much in character for Spider-Girl. It's been proven a lot in the Spider-Girl series that her rage kinda could get the best of her when it has to do with her family. And I could totally see, I don't know if Spider-Girl, I don't know if I could say I totally see Spider-Girl killing him. I could totally see Spider-Girl saying that. So, yeah, Ramus's art was great too there, too. So, I'm really intrigued to see where May goes. I'm also intrigued to see a kind of darker path for Spider-Girl that I feel that we haven't seen with her character. So, it'll be pretty cool to see. Number 1 is Bionic Woman, Season 4, issue 2. I keep saying that because it's a TV show. But I thought this was a perfect issue. You know, it's really surprising, and I really debated to put it over Amazing Spider-Man, but I don't think Amazing Spider-Man was perfect. As much as I love the Spider-Girl stuff, there wasn't enough of Spider-Girl. I think there wasn't enough pages of Spider-Girl. If that was the main story, I think Amazing Spider-Man probably would have been number 1, but with this, I thought this was a perfect story. We get to see a really interesting story with Jamie, where she goes to this suburban area, and it's very weird. It's already eerie, and we see Jamie forgets her memory, but really doesn't, because of the first issue. She had like this thing implant, that way she doesn't forget her memory anymore, because it happens so much in the show. But we get to see that Jamie is in this suburban place, and she's trying to get help throughout the whole time, and this suburban place is not the American dream. These robots start attacking Jamie. She tries running away because she's like, alright, well, my cover is blown, so let me run away. And what the hell is this place? I have no idea. And this guy that lived in the place says, you can trust me, come with me, and we'll get out of here. And Jamie doesn't make a decision by the end, but I gotta say, there's an epic battle with this android and Jamie that I love. She gets the safe out, she's covering herself, so I just think it's so similar to the show. And again, I love this eeriness of 1950s suburban home with this advancement of technology, and they're talking about technology and this whole American dream thing, and I'm a sucker for that story, and you can tell there are so many undertones here. So artwork was great too. I loved it. It was just a perfect issue. So I gave Bionic Woman 5 stars. I'm really excited to see where this series goes. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic episode 69. I'll have another episode next week. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic and the Random Situations. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. Don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And also, don't forget to back up the Kickstarter for Like Father, Like Daughter. Tell me your thoughts on this week's comics. Best pick of the week, worst pick of the week, everything in between. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.